What's up, friends? Welcome into another episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. I am your host, TB. Thank you so very much for stopping in and checking out the 3Ts. We have so much to get to, but I tell you where I'm not going to start. I am not going to start with the Buffalo Bills this week after that dreadful performance on Sunday afternoon. They're going to be taking the back seat this week. So card enthusiast, hobby fans, you are up first. How the heck are we feeling? I tell you what, I am feeling great. Absolutely great after diving into Topps 2025-26 basketball last week. I had ordered, I'm not sure if I told you, I had ordered 3 Fanatics boxes through the Fanatics website a while back. They finally arrived at my doorstep last Thursday afternoon. I was super stoked to rip these open. In fact, I was so excited to dive back into basketball that I dusted off my old persona. Now, if you go back all the way to the first episode, I talked about my old YouTube persona, Real TB Rips. I had made videos of opening cards, so I dusted off this old persona, Real TB Rips. I fired up the old video recorder, and I posted a YouTube video of me opening the 3 Fanatics boxes. And I tell you what, folks, I had a freaking blast. The product, in my opinion, it's great. It's great. Let me start by saying this. I know, number one, I know it's overprinted. Yes, I understand that. I get the criticism. There is a ton of this out there in the market. There are so many variations, so many different ways to distribute this product, whether we're talking about hobby boxes or jumbos or megas or hangers or fat packs, whatever. There is a lot of this product, and I totally get that. So, of course, people are crapping all over it. But the ones I hear crapping on it, these are the same people who just view the hobby as a flip, as an investment, as some sort of money-making gig, right? So I think they're kind of missing the point of what this product is supposed to be, if I'm being honest. I think if you are ripping Topps basketball, which is now going to be Topps flagship basketball program, this is their product, this is their paper product for basketball. I think if you're ripping it for the money, I think you're not going to be happy. You're just not. There's not going to be a huge return on investment. But if you're ripping it to have fun and potentially look into, you're using it as a way to get back into collecting basketball cards, which for me, this is what I talked about in my video I made. For me, it's been over 30 years since I collected NBA cards. And to me, this was a perfect entry point back into NBA product. If I'm being honest, I kind of think Topps had to go all in on this one. They finally regained the NBA license after, I think, roughly 16 years or so. So they had to come out and they had to make a splash. And in order to do so, they had to make sure this product was going to be available to everyone who wanted to get their hands on it. So yeah, you're going to have to overproduce the crap out of this product. I get it. If they came out and a hobby box was $400, $500, $600, like most Panini products we've seen in the last 15 years, and they made it so no one could buy it, no one could get their hands on any sort of boxes at all, retail included, people would have lost their minds on that end too. So I think they're kind of in a no-win situation, but I think that this was the right way to go if you were Topps. Overproduce it, get it to the masses, see how sales go, see what the general response is, and then make adjustments moving forward. I just think that they did this correctly. As far as Fanatics boxes are concerned, for the price point, I paid $30 a box. I think it was perfect. If you watch my video, I literally talk about there is something for everybody in a Fanatics box. You get tons of rookies. You get lots of inserts. They have this insert called Power Players. The colors pop. I love them. Another insert, the Generation Now. The foils, I pulled a couple foils. They look banging. The 45th anniversary throwbacks. I am a huge heritage mark for baseball. It's one of my favorite products. I love old school stuff. We talk about it all the time on this channel. Nostalgia. I love nostalgia. I always love throwback stuff. I love these 45th anniversary cards. I think they're great. Clutch City. This is another insert. Love the art design. 8-Bit Ballers. This is a card that people crap all over, but it takes me back to opening some of the lower end baseball products. The 8-Bit Ballers, I mean, this is great. You should have this stuff, just like the mascot cards and things like that. Appeal to the masses, right? Have something for everybody. Yes, the 8-Bit Baller cards, are they amazing? No, they're not, but they're fun, and I just love fun stuff. So yeah, the entire product, there's just a lot there. And in 3 boxes, I think I hit a memorabilia card. It was called a Franchise Fabrics Kneppel. I'm starting to learn these players, by the way. So, because I've been out of the NBA for 30 years. So I just got back into it. I started watching a lot more basketball games. And I mean, some of these cards are sweet. I pulled a numbered card at 250. I pulled a 45th anniversary pink parallel card. I got an aqua parallel. And the hit of the box, I had never pulled this in all the baseball stuff I've opened, and I opened a lot of baseball. I hit a wood parallel, which I've never seen in person. This is a card that's numbered to 25. Frankly, it was shocking to pull that out of Fanatics box that was $29.99. So yeah, I had a absolute blast. The checklist, I love it because they include retired great players from the past. It's just great. I love the whole set. I had so much fun that after the rip, I immediately ordered 3 more Fanatics boxes. So Topps, congratulations. You got me back on the hook. I am sold. I love the product. Maybe I'm a sucker. I will admit it. But, who cares? It was a lot of fun. Side note and shameless plug, if you want to check out my full rip and review, go check out my YouTube channel at RealTBRips. Topps brought me out of retirement for this one, so I got to say I am back. I am all in. If you're not into basketball, that's okay too. Topps is dropping so many products left and right. In fact, if I'm looking at this, if I zoom the camera out, I kind of think that they need to take a little break, take a chill, maybe spread this stuff out more because, number one, we're getting close to holiday time. People are shopping for Christmas already, trying to save money, trying to, put some things away for their Christmas list, for their Santa wish list. And now they're dropping product after product. And I just don't understand why all these big products are dropping within not only days, but we're talking hours of each other. So last week to start, 2025 Topps Baseball Black and White hit pre-order, and this was on their website for just about 3 whole minutes. I mean, that's all the time you had to pre-order a hobby box with this one. I was super excited to try to get my hands on one of these, and so I was extremely disappointed. I had no chance of getting this. No chance. And if you've seen Topps Black and White Baseball, I think it's very similar to Stadium Club, which I absolutely love. This set is awesome. If you like Stadium Club, I kind of think that this is like Stadium Club Premiere. It features awesome black and white photographs, awesome pictures. I think the pictures look sick. With a hobby box, if you could get your hands on one, you were guaranteed 4 numbered parallels to 99 or lower. You were guaranteed 1 super short print or 1 short print, some sort of image variation card. You were guaranteed an autograph, and I think a box was going for right around 200. Now this product, the checklist was super short. It was like 125 base cards, very few parallels, really good autograph list. I looked at the checklist and I was like, this product is awesome. So I'm not surprised it sold out super quick. It's just mad disappointing. And now, of course, the secondary sites have jacked the prices through the roof. Of course they did. And now like a hobby box is right around $400 at least on secondary sites. So yeah, it's complete nonsense. I get it, supply and demand, but man, it's just so frustrating when you literally have 3 minutes to get your hand on a product. And if you don't, you are screwed and there's no chance at all. So it's maddening. What else? Last Friday, Topps Chrome SpongeBob Sapphire dropped. They had an EQL. If you aren't familiar with an EQL, essentially you are entering a lotto. You put your name, your payment information in, you go into a drawing, and if they pick you, you are automatically charged. And then whenever the product actually comes out, they already deliver it to you. So you enter the EQL, and from what I see on socials and whatnot, nobody ever gets this. So I don't know who is actually winning these EQLs. The only one I've ever won in my lifetime was the Topps Chrome WWE set. I was super lucky to get that one. And but these SpongeBob Sapphire boxes, these were dropping for the low price, of $320, right around $320. And I know you probably think this is crazy, which it is, but considering that their regular Topps Chrome SpongeBob, the non-Sapphire edition, the hobby boxes are still selling for over $400, and this product came out a while back, this Sapphire set is going to be a sure hit. It's going to be a sure hit. So, but of course, I missed on the EQL, as most people I saw missed out on the EQL. I guarantee the resale on these at least $600, at least, if not $700-800 for a Sapphire box, no doubt at all. So say what you want, but the singles from that first Topps Chrome SpongeBob set, they are selling like hotcakes, crazy high prices on singles. Some of the autographs are going absolutely nuts through the roof. People are going crazy over this SpongeBob set. And, hey, whatever. I can't tell people how to spend money. I was hoping to grab a box and then I was going to maybe either hold it or resell it because you could instantly double your money, and that would have been great, especially around the holidays. Now, this week, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, so starting yesterday on Monday, Topps has gone and they've dropped even more product. So yesterday you had 2 monster products hitting pre-sale, and these, again, within an hour of each other. So it started at noon. Topps Chrome 2025 Formula One for all you racing fans, all you F1 fans. This dropped at noon. This is always probably the biggest release for F1 fans of the year. This is going to be a 200 card base set. Now you have drivers from F1, F2, unfortunately, and including F3, which nobody wants to see. I watched a lot of reviews on F1 Chrome last year, and people were kind of upset that there were so many F3 drivers included in this product. But if you didn't like that, you're not going to like the fact that there's probably 30 parallels on each base card, which in my opinion, 30 is just maddening. It's too many. It's just too many. I mean, come on. The inserts though, the inserts for F1, these always look great. The photos on the inserts usually are pretty sick. Allegedly now, nobody knows for sure, but the autos in this product are supposed to be much more plentiful. The problem with hobby boxes with F1, Topps F1, you're not guaranteed an auto. So people were enraged that they're spending a lot of money. I think these were dropping for like $240 per hobby box, and there's no guaranteed auto. That's been the complaint of Topps F1, that it's next to impossible to hit autos. Well, stand by, folks, because I have the odds for you on the Grail card coming out of this upcoming product. From what I've read, there's only a single driver who is part of the hobby-only on-card Chrome autograph set, and that, of course, is none other than Lewis Hamilton. He's the only one, as far as from what I can see, that has an actual on-card auto. The rest are stickers, and you have 2 chances. That's right, 2 chances to grab a on-card Lewis Hamilton auto. You ready? Your first chance is a red refractor on-card auto. This is number 25. So he signed 5 of these, and the odds of pulling one of these red refractors, number 5, is 1 in 297,504 packs. So you like your odds on that? I think that's pretty good odds. Well, the second chance you have of pulling an on-card Lewis Hamilton auto is the 1-of-1 Superfractor. This is the chase. This is the holy grail of 2025 Topps Chrome F1. You ready for this? Your odds of hitting this 1-of-1 Superfractor are 1 out of 1,487,520 packs. I think those are great odds. Good luck. Good luck if you're trying to snag the Lewis Hamilton on-card auto. But let's move on. An hour after F1 dropped, you saw the pre-sale drop for probably the biggest flagship baseball product of the year, 2025 Topps Chrome Update Baseball. If you don't remember this, think back to last year. The absolute madness, the crazy story surrounding rookie Paul Skeens and his debut patch autograph card. This took the hobby industry, the whole hobby, by complete storm. I mean, it took over the scene. You had all sorts of bounties come out for this card. Now, if you don't remember, when the rookie makes their debut in the majors, they wear this rookie patch on the sleeve of their jersey. Well, what Topps does is after that game is completed, they gain possession of the patch and then they put it into a 1-of-1 card that the player then autographs. This is the biggest card there is as far as the big chase of your baseball products. Paul Skeens was the huge rookie pitcher for the Pirates last year, and everyone was going nuts. There were all sorts of bounties for this rookie debut patch. The Pirates organization, they came out with a less than stellar offer for whoever pulled it. They were offering like season tickets for lifetime. And they didn't really bring their A game. And then his girlfriend, Livy Dunn, kind of jumped in and she added some sort of meet and greet, which if you ask me, that would have been a little weird. I don't know. Ultimately, I think some kid pulled it somewhere. I can't remember where. Somewhere in California. I'm not sure. But the card went up to auction and it sold for a crazy number of $1.1 million. $1.1 million for a Paul Skeens rookie patch autograph debut card. So these patches are where it is at. There are so many stories, kind of cool stories of the actual player trying to track down their own cards, making all sorts of deals with the people who are ripping the packs and pulling these patches. It's kind of cool to see them try to track down their own card and what deals either their spouses are making or the player themselves is making to get their card back. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a big deal. So yeah, this year, 200 card base set picks right up where Topps Chrome left off. Now Topps Chrome, if you remember, this has been the probably dog crap release of the Topps baseball season. Topps Chrome baseball was a huge bomb. So Topps, they got some work to do to make up for that disaster of a product. There's going to be a bunch of refractor parallels, lots of inserts. The inserts are usually pretty cool. There are some new ones added to the mix this year. Fortune 15. I'm not really sure what some of these are. I'm just kind of going through what the names of them are. Fortune 15, Night Terrors are some new inserts, but obviously the chase is the autos, the rookie patch autos to be specific. And I think they went a little crazy because there are 270 rookie patch auto cards out there. Now, obviously these are all one of ones, but 270 of these things. I mean, I went through the checklist and I didn't recognize half these players. Most of these players you have never heard of. Now, obviously there's probably, I would say 20 to 25 that are going to be significant. Your main key rookies, no doubt, Nick Kurtz. He's going to be the chase. He already won Rookie of the Year. I think it came out yesterday. This is going to be the chase. I wonder if this Kurtz card is going to come close to the 1.1 mil. I don't think it will, but it's probably going to be at least $500,000, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this card should be insane once it actually is pulled and once it sells. I do like these Lava Lamp rookie autos. They look fire. I think all in all, it's going to be a fun product. I checked after the pre-sale dropped and it was sold out within, I know the jumbos were going for like 400 and the hobby boxes were running right around 200 and they sold out pretty quickly. So it's unfortunate that, stuff like this is just not readily available. You have to be ready to go and you got to have your pocketbook ready to go crazy. And if you had any money left over yesterday, then you can dive right back in today because today is Tuesday. As I said, I'm recording this Tuesday right around noon. Well, as of the recording of this, the presale just went live for Topps Cosmic Baseball. They are up first. This went live at noon. Probably already gone. Haven't checked, but I love the Cosmic Baseball sets. I think these are super cool. I love the look, the design. I usually find myself trying to buy singles of some of my favorite players because the box prices, they're kind of insane. It was like, I think it was going for $350, $340, $350, and you only get 80 cards. Yeah, it's crazy. And you'll end up with a bunch of crap you don't want. So this is one of the products that I just dive into the singles and try to find some I like. Usually once things die down, you can get some pretty good deals on it. I love the background. They have different, like obviously cosmic, so we're talking outer space. So they have suns and moons and different planets. And I just think it's a different, cool looking product. I'm all about it. Again, you have a 200 card base set, lots of parallels, super cool inserts. There's some called light speed, ultraviolet beams, star clusters, extraterrestrial talent. That's a hard word to say. And like I said, it's just a cool product all around. If you're not interested in that, 1 o'clock, which is coming up here in a few minutes, you got 2025 Topps Archives Baseball. And historically, this is a little lower price point than the other products we've already talked about. I think this is more of a nostalgia rip. So the product this year, it focuses on 3 old school Topps designs for this year. They are focusing on 1964. 1996 and 2005. It's going to be packed with, I'm taking this right from the Topps description of it, which sometimes it's maddening to read, but it says it's packed with legends, rookies, and fan favorites. There are, of course, multiple variations on each base card. Each hobby box, you're looking at 2 on-card autos, which is kind of crazy, 12 inserts, and 8 exclusive pink foil board parallels. Like I said, this is a little lower price point, and last year, I know I saw blaster boxes of Archives pretty much everywhere. Walmart, Target, all over the place. Relatively cheaper, much more friendly price point for those just looking to rip something. A hobby box is running $130 at pre-sale, which is great. The checklist isn't too fantastic, but like I said, this is more of a nostalgia rip. If you are into heritage, is kind of in the same vein as that, although you have 3 different time frames, 3 different years that they focus on throughout the whole release. And lastly, getting away from baseball for a second, GPK, I love talking about GPK when I can. GPK is on the clock every year, right around this time. They drop a special short set which celebrates the inductees into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's called the 2025 Garbage Pail Kids Rock and Roll Hall of Lame. See what they did there? And each special short set contains 10 cards. You get 5 characters, and if you know anything about Garbage Pail Kids, they have an A and B variation, an A and B version of each character. They just changed the name on it. So you get 10 cards, and then additionally, you either are given a rock record insert, a gold foil rock record, which is numbered to 25, or a short print rejected rock star insert as well. So, hey, it's fun. It's cool. I like that they kind of honor the new inductees into the Hall of Fame. If you're a GPK fan, I encourage you to check this out. Relatively cheap. You can get the whole set, which totals 11 cards for just around $19.99, which isn't too shabby, but these are only available for a very, very short time. So that's a lot of releases. That's a lot of stuff. And to be honest, I like something about all of these sets. It's a lot of sets. I kind of want to be in on all of them, which is upsetting because there's just no way you can afford any of this stuff. I don't know how people are in on all of these at the same time, because if you're talking about diving in and getting some of everything, at least $1,000 to $1,500 to grab something of all these. Thank goodness I have my If Money Were No Object by the Week segment, because I'm ponying up to the table and I'm ordering me one of everything. If I'm venturing a guess, like I said, probably around $1,200 to $1,500 piece of cake. With all the revenue I am collecting from this podcast, it's mere pocket change. So anyway, that's going to wrap up the hobby portion of the show. Wrestling Marks, you are on the clock. How the heck are we feeling? We are about 3 weeks away from Survivor Series WarGames, which is going to be coming at you from sunny San Diego, California, Petco Park, to be honest. And yeah, there's a little ways to go to set this thing up. If I'm being completely honest, the WarGames aspect, maybe we should table this for a little bit. If you ask me, talk about nostalgia all the time, talk about my love for old school wrestling. Survivor Series was awesome back in the day. When I was a kid, the old school Survivor Series matches, I loved this pay-per-view. It was Royal Rumble, and then it was Survivor Series. Yeah, WrestleMania was cool, and that was kind of, in a place by itself, but I love the idea of the old school Survivor Series matches. And so I just really wish they would bring this back. Give me some of the old sets, the old ways of that the old, WWF would set these matches up. I kind of miss that. I just think they should chill with the WarGames aspect, because when you design a pay-per-view around a very specific match, I feel like it starts to lose its luster. You see this sometimes with Elimination Chamber when you're forced to fill that specific match instead of rounding and making a well-rounded pay-per-view. Instead, now you have to design your show around a match, and I don't necessarily think that that's that great, but what the heck do I know? Right now, I think it's been tough to really see if any of these feuds are worthy of a WarGames double cage setup. Historically, these are matches that have usually been building for months and months and months, and WarGames is like the blow off, right? So it's the ultimate finish to a feud. There's no other way to settle it. Let's get everybody into this double cage, which is cool visually. It's a cool concept, but we'll talk about the actual WarGames match later as we get closer to reviewing the show. I just don't know if the stories are suitable to throw these teams into a WarGames match, because, they're setting these up at a much quicker pace. And yeah, I'm a huge old school fan. I want to see old school Survivor Series matches. maybe next week I try to fire up the DeLorean, talk about some of the old school Survivor Series stuff and kind of the history behind it. I've been meaning to go down memory lane. I just haven't had a chance to get back and watch some of the older shows, but they are some of my favorite. I mean, you had the Undertaker debut at Survivor Series, and who can forget the gobbledygooker? I mean, fantastic. So you had this egg sitting on the set of WWF television for what, weeks, months, and then they revealed this character to be none other than the gobbledygooker at Survivor Series. I mean, who can't forget that? But anyway, getting back to current stories, current programming, there's stuff that's kind of just getting off the ground. But if you watched last night's Monday Night Raw, they freaking delivered an absolute banger of a show. I was really impressed. The whole episode was good, top to bottom, and I think they are taking this John Cena retirement thing to the next level. It was great. The show started with Trips in the ring, Triple H. He's giving a long speech about the GOAT, John Cena, what it means to be him and his career and the history behind it, and he's just praising him up and down. And the crowd, this is taking place in Boston, John Cena's hometown. They are getting so jazzed up. Trips finally introduces Cena. The place, the roof blows off the place. This is legit. The only reason these people are here is to see John Cena, and it was awesome. He comes out, he gives a speech essentially in front of his hometown arena. So Cena comes out, he's giving this speech. Triple H is there, and then he is essentially interrupted during this speech by your Intercontinental Champion, Dom Mysterio, Dirty Dom, and I was so fired up to see this. These two went at it face to face, and it was great. Adam Pearce, your general manager of Raw, comes out. He sets up an impromptu matchup for literally the only belt that Cena has never won, the Intercontinental title, and I did not know this. I did not know he has never won the IC title. Pierce instantly sets up this match. It's for the title. Ref comes out, and away we go. It was a great, fun match. Dom with his shenanigans. There's a ref bump. There's some crazy shenanigans going on. John is delivering vintage, crazy facial expressions, which is just great. And the next thing you know, he hits an attitude adjustment, and he's your new IC champ. And the place comes absolutely unglued. It was fantastic. I don't care what you say. This match was great. It was so much fun. To hear the crowd reaction to Cena winning this title was awesome. And sometimes you just need to do things because the crowd needs it to happen. And this was one of those moments. It was awesome. For Cena to come out, have this match, win the IC belt in front of his hometown, complete like the whole Grand Slam title thing after 20 years, right? 20 years, he finally wins this belt. And to do it in front of your hometown against Dirty Dom, of all people, I thought it was great. And then afterwards, there's a backstage segment. He comes back through the curtain. There's all these wrestlers gathered around there congratulating him. Finally, the camera slowly pans to Rey Mysterio. He thanks him for literally whipping his son's ass. And Cena, to his credit, he gives Dom a shout out. He said Dom is a good kid. And he's giving Dom the backstage nod. Despite Dom losing the belt, look, if you think that this kid is not heading towards being an absolute superstar in this company, if you can't see it, I'm not sure what you're watching. They are seriously laying out all the breadcrumbs for this kid and his path to the top of the card. It was great. I think Dom's great. I think this was super, super well done. The rest of Raw, we saw two matches kick off the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. Rusev beat Damian Priest. That match was whatever. No big deal. And then Sheamus faced Shinsuke Nakamura. He beat Nakamura to win his match. They were fine. Two solid matches. The Sheamus thing, as soon as he won, I'm thinking, now I know this isn't going to happen, but I'm thinking, hey, Sheamus is the other guy who's never won the IC belt. Could they possibly be setting this up for Sheamus Cena? I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, it was the first thought I had after he beat Shinsuke. Then we get to the part where the WarGames matches are being put together. Punk had a promo. He cuts a promo. He's calling out Logan Paul, who suckered punched him last week on Raw. And of course, Logan comes out, the Vision come out behind him. There's going to be a brawl in the ring. Punk is ready to fight, and who comes to make the save? It's none other than Jey Uso, whatever. So it's Uso and Punk versus the three Vision people. So they're down a man, and they're about to go at it, and who comes out but none other than everyone's favorite superhero, Cody Rhodes, and he's there to make the save and join the team. And look, I get it. He just came off this thing with Drew McIntyre where Drew McIntyre interfered with his match with Aleister Black and hits the Claymore on the referee, which I haven't seen in some time. So he essentially gets himself suspended. He is written off TV. And then, of course, the rumors are, well, he's going to film a movie, so he can't be around anyway. But I'm not really sure why Cody Rhodes is showing up on Monday Night Raw to help CM Punk and Jey Uso. To me, it doesn't really make any sense. He's a SmackDown guy. What is he doing on Raw? And he really doesn't have anything to do with any of these people. So I don't know. They're probably going to push this whole CM Punk and Cody are friends, whatever. Stupid, if you ask me. So they're backstage. It's Punk, it's Jay, it's Cody. They're talking with Adam Pearce, and suddenly Punk says, "Take it away, Regal," or something like that. And they pan the camera to William Regal, looking every bit like he's 80 years old, and then he just screams out, "War Games!" And here we go. We're off and running. So the next 3 weeks, hey, we're going to see who's added to the Vision side. We're going to see who's added to the superhero side. Most likely, the rumor is Brock Lesnar is going to join the bad guys and Paul Heyman. And probably LA Knight is going to help the good guys. It's just like, whatever. I don't know. Does Roman get added into this somehow with Jay? And I don't know what's going on. If so, if he gets added and he's the fifth to the superhero team, who's the fifth going to be on the Vision? I'm kind of more interested in that aspect, but we shall see what happens. On the women's side, they laid the groundwork. They had a match with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss having a title defense against the Kabuki Warriors. This was the main event of Monday Night Raw, and these four have been going at it for a while. As I've said before in previous podcasts, I love the work the women are doing. This was a great match. These four have been going at it. Chaos ensues at the end. You have Nia Jax and her new recruit, Lash Legend. They jump out from the crowd, they're interfering, and suddenly we have brand new tag champs, the Kabuki Warriors. So congrats to Asuka and Kairi Sane, new tag team champs. So we have a post-match beatdown, and who makes the save but none other than Io Sky. She's obviously had her own issues with the Kabuki Warriors. She runs out to help Charlotte and Bliss. And then finally, to even the odds, we have the return of the female superhero, Rhea Ripley. She's running down. She's wearing a face shield. Obviously, she just had her face and her nose busted up, so she's now wearing this face mask kind of thing. She slides into the ring and joins the side of the baby faces, and they clear the ring. The good guys are standing tall. Rhea Ripley grabs the mic and screams, "War Games!" And that's the end of the show. And away we go with the female side. So within an hour, you have set up your 2 War Games matches, minus a few participants here and there. But all in all, I would say, hey, Monday Night Raw, they freaking delivered. After kind of like 2 months of just blah, lazy, kind of boring, repetitive shows, I think that this was great. It was a really good show in front of an awesome crowd in Cena's hometown. Speaking of John Cena, I wanted to check in with the Saturday night's main event ticket prices for December 13th in Washington, D.C. I wanted to jump on the old SeatGeek app and see where we're standing for the cost to get in the building. The cheapest ticket to get into the arena, I don't even know what the arena's called. It's where the Caps play, where the terrible NBA Wizards team plays. The current cheapest seat get you in the door is $358. And that's way up in the 400s. Not many 100 level seats. Cheaper than 800. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty hot ticket. In fact, it's actually cheaper to go to WrestleMania in Vegas next year than to get a ticket to John Cena's last match, if you can believe it. I'm really digging the path that we are on to get us to this Saturday night's main event on December 13th. Super excited for these tournament matches. I can't wait to see where they go. I'm looking forward to SmackDown. Now I have something to kind of invest in for the next 3 weeks heading to Survivor Series. And then 2 weeks after that, we have Saturday night's main event and John Cena's last match. So it's crazy, but all in all, a good week of programming. We shall see what happens. But that's going to wrap up the wrestling portion of the program. And now, last but certainly not least, oh boy, Bills Mafia, you are up. You are on the clock. I am not even going to start by asking how you all are feeling because, well, let me start with this. I wanted to get the first 2 segments out of the way because they brought me joy. And this Bills segment is going to bring me nothing but sorrow. So I know how you all are feeling because I'm pretty miserable after the last game Sunday afternoon from Miami, Florida. There's so much to get to, so much to talk about in the world of the Bills. I'm not sure where to start because every aspect of this is so frustrating. But what I do want to start with is the report that came out, I think it was like Sunday, and then further details kind of trickled in as the week went on. The report came out about the Jalen Waddle trade and the Miami Dolphins. And I kind of want to jump right into this. It came out, the report, the rumor, whatever you want to call it, that the Dolphins were willing to trade Jalen Waddle to the Bills. The Bills were offering a first-round pick in 2027 and a third-round pick in the upcoming draft, 2026. So a third and a first. The third in 26 this year or next year, and the first in the year after. Well, the Dolphins came back and said they wanted a first and a third in next year's draft. They're pretty similar. Like those two deals. I mean, if you ask me, that's the same deal. So that was the sticking point. The Dolphins wanted a first and third in the 2026 draft, but Buffalo only was willing to go a first in 2027 and a third in 2026. Now, that in of itself is super frustrating, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but there were rumors to how this came out, how this narrative, how this story was leaked. Most of the signs, most of the stories, most of the things I'm hearing are pointing that the Bills were leaking this story because they were attempting to control this post-trade deadline narrative that we didn't get anything. And I told you before the deadline, we talked about this on numerous podcasts. I told you before how the natives, the Bills Mafia, they were getting restless. And what did Brandon Beane do as the GM to the Bills? He did nothing. He did nothing. Not a single thing. So the way I see it, this whole story was released. And from what I'm hearing, I have no choice but to believe it. But this story was released as a way to show the fan base that Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills tried. That they just tried and, so we tried, but, it's just the price was too high. We couldn't get anything done. Hey, PR team. Hey, Brandon Beane, you should all be fired if that's the case. If this is really the case and you chose to release this information on your own, this is terrible. Brandon Beane and company, shame on you. You had a deal in front of you and you blew it. For what? What are we talking about here? The same pick a year later? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's absolutely brutal to know that we could have had the very player who then went out on Sunday afternoon in Miami and torched us. He balled out, caught a touchdown, did the whole tutty selly, the whole thing. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So for me to hear this story, number one, before I even get to the game, this story is maddening to me. Maddening. You know who else balled out on Sunday? The other topic that I talked about for a month prior to the trade deadline, Chris Olave and the New Orleans Saints. You know what he did? He balled out 5 catches, 104 yards, tutty. Great, fantastic, awesome. Had we made a trade for Chris Olave, I would have been extremely happy. Nope, he goes out. I think he made some sick touchdown catch or some ridiculous catches in that game, just adding to his highlight package. And what did Brandon Beane do? Nothing. I couldn't give up a 2026 first-round pick. That's too much, but I would have given you a 2027 pick. Get off your freaking throne, dude. It's so upsetting. Had we made the trade for Waddle, would we have lost on Sunday? I don't know, but it would have been really nice to find out. How demoralized do you think the Dolphins team, specifically the offense and Tua, would have been to see their best pass catcher suit up for the opposition? So now they come into the game, literally Waddle takes his stuff from the home side to the visitor side. He probably tells the Bills, hey, I'll just meet you down here. I'll suit up for y'all, just have my locker ready. He probably just walks across the hallway and slides right into Keon Coleman's locker. He goes, move down a couple, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? How demoralized would this Dolphins team have been? Now, would the Bills have won the game? I don't know, but I would have rather at least tried. It sure would have been nice to find out. So to see your best pass catcher suit up for the opposition, and maybe he goes and doesn't do much because I'm not expecting much, but he goes and runs a few go routes during the game. I'm not sure which makes me more upset. The details of this potential trade, because that just fires me up and it's infuriating to know that the deal was right there and he said no. I would have much rather the story come out that go, the Dolphins flat out refused to trade in the division. Hey, if that's the story, I get it. I totally get it. Same thing if the Bills tried to go get Garrett Wilson from the Jets. If those are the stories and the Jets and the Dolphins are unwilling to trade within the division, hey, I understand that. I get it. But to have the deal at the table and Brandon Beane turns his nose up at it and goes, that's too much. I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. And you leak that story? How do you think the restless natives are going to react now? This is insane to me. Insane. So I'm not sure which makes me more upset, the details of the potential trade for Waddle or the absolute turd sandwich they dropped on the field on Sunday. And I have so much to talk about with this game, so much to talk about. And I'm not really sure where to start, but I'm going to try to start with maybe the best part of the game. Well, the best part of the game by far was the punter. So congratulations, the MVP of the game was a punter. I'm going to just get that out first and foremost. The punter, and closely followed by one-armed bandit Joey Bosa. Like, seeing the pictures of him with his club hand, I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like, this guy's taking the field and he's trying to ball out and he's got one hand. So the punter and Joey Bosa, congratulations, you balled out. You're off the hook. But the defense, I'm going to start with the defense because there's people out there that want to blame the defense. You look at the final score and it was 30-13. And you say, well, the defense. And I'll hear that for a few minutes. But a couple things. This defense is decimated by injuries. Your defensive line, interior defensive line, we're playing guys that literally are like working at Burger King. I don't even know who these players are. They keep bringing players up from the practice squad and signing them, and then they're playing the whole game. We're taking Daquan Jones. We're moving him around. Like, Daquan Jones just came off the injured list and all this crap, and people are playing out of position, and it's just, so you want to talk about decimated by injuries, but I thought Cole Bishop played well. Yeah, he made a couple mistakes, and I already talked about Joey Bosa. They played well, they played hard. I would rather see Cole Bishop fly around, make a few mistakes. Same with Maxwell Hairston. Yeah, he got beat. He gave up the tutty to Waddle. But you know what? Let's bump the brakes on this. This is literally like his first kind of full game. So you want to talk experience, NFL experience, this is his third game. I'm going to give him a pass because had he been on the field since week 1, this probably would have been a different outcome, and maybe he doesn't make the mistakes he made in the Miami game. But I'm willing to live with the mistakes he made because he plays hard and he gets back up and he doesn't make the same mistakes twice. He's your rookie. He's going to make mistakes, especially against people as awesome as Jalen Waddle. I wish we would have freaking had him on our side of the field, Brandon Beane, but I digress. You're talking about a rundown defense, and yes, they gave up points. It's definitely not perfect, but I give them credit. Who I will not give credit, however, is our linebackers. The gloves are off at this point. I have tried not to talk trash about Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano. I love Matt Milano. You have heard me say this numerous times. He has historically been one of my favorite defensive players, just favorite players on this Bills team. But you two, I don't know what I'm watching anymore. They're missing tackles left and right. They're running bad routes. They're out of position. I feel like Bernard, who's the one running the plays and calling the plays, he's not running the plays, but he's the one that relays the plays and makes some of the line adjustments. I feel like, I've said this before in earlier podcasts, he's not looking at the play as the ball is snapped because he's barking orders and making adjustments to the defense right up until and sometimes after the ball is in play. And I'm like, Bernard, what the hell are you doing? Pay attention. Can we do this 2 seconds before, 3 seconds before? Get ready. He just seems like he's never in position. I don't know what has happened to him. This year he is playing terribly, just terribly. And Matt Milano, and it's so upsetting to see Matt Milano just be a shell of himself. Can I get linebackers that know what they're doing? Can I get linebackers who can tackle? I get they're kind of at a disadvantage with the 4th, 5th, 6th stringers we have playing interior defensive line. So I get that some of those gaps are going to be out of place, and I get that sometimes they're going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to making and the right read and whatnot. I understand that, but this is unacceptable. You guys are playing like dog crap this year when you're on the field. But having said all that, you gave up 16 points to the Dolphins team in 50 minutes of play? 50 minutes of play. You held this Dolphins team to 16 points. What did the offense bring to the table on Sunday afternoon, folks? They brought absolutely nothing. Nothing. We got nothing from the offense. So we can blame the defense, but those last 2 touchdowns, those were at the end of the game. The game was already over. Forget about it. I'm looking at the majority of this game. 93% of the game, the defense held the Dolphins to 16 points, and we didn't do anything. So let's look at I call it the offensive triangle. I've talked about this before. The offensive triangle. Allen, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. What did the Dolphins do? What was their defensive goal this game? They were going to stack the line. They were stacking the box to stop James Cook. They basically said, James Cook, you are not going to beat us. We are going to do everything in our power to hold you in check. And they did. To their credit, he had, 50 yards rushing? Right around 50 yards rushing. They said, Josh Allen and your weapons, you cannot beat us. Joe Brady, you are incapable of calling a game through the air that will beat this terrible Dolphins defense that just gave up 28 points to the Ravens. That was without key components. Their starting cornerback, Rasul Douglas, he didn't play. Bradley Chubb didn't play. But they made it their goal in that game to stop James Cook and dare Josh Allen and the wide receiving core to beat them. And the Bills did nothing. Nothing. So you take James Cook out of that triangle. What's the next option? I've talked about this before. The passing offense runs through Dalton Kincaid. When he is not on the field, what happens? It throws everything into chaos. Sheer chaos. And nothing runs right. For some reason, they think their tight end, who is only on the field a maximum of 40% of the offensive plays anyway, when he's healthy, they think that this is the key to running the offense. Well, guess what? Hey, have we seen this story before? Dalton Kincaid, who I love, who when he's on the field balls out, he gets hurt, a hamstring injury. He can't get on the field. So now you have James Cook, who's been nullified, and now the other third of your triangle, Dalton Kincaid, is off the field. What happens when you have 2 legs of a triangle and one of those legs is stopped? Not much of a triangle when you only have one side. So now you got Josh Allen running for his life, and he becomes a turnover machine. Now, I'm going to talk about Josh in a minute. But holy cow, they stopped Cook, they stacked the box, they dared Allen to throw, and Kincaid got hurt. We are screwed. Screwed. Which turns my attention to Joe freaking Brady. Oh my goodness. There's a reason why I talked about the Bills at the end of this podcast. I'm just so frustrated. Joe Brady, you ready for Joe Brady? He has 5 plays. This playbook is 5 plays. You all know these plays. It's a Cook run of some sort. So we'll just say, number 1, the first play in the playbook is a Cook run. Most of the time, it's right up the middle. And to their credit, most of the time, the offensive line decides to show up and actually play. They didn't today. And they didn't make adjustments knowing the Dolphins were keyed to stop James Cook. So play 1, you gave the ball to James Cook. Okay, what's play 2? Well, we know what play 2 is. It's a Shakir screen and pray. You throw the ball at the line of scrimmage to Khalil Shakir and you hit your knees and pray. And this has become a joke because everyone in the stadium knows this play is coming. Not only does everyone in the stadium, but everyone in the league knows this play is coming. Okay, so let's go. What's play 3? Okay, we're ready for play 3. It's an end around to some unknown bum. Sometimes it's Dawson Knox, and he fumbles. Sometimes it's Elijah Moore, and he fumbles. I don't know what's happening. This end-around play, I said it before, this should be shot to the freaking sun. Get this out of the playbook. So you don't like that? Okay, that's play 3. What's play 4? Play 4 is a 50-50 ball thrown to Keon Coleman somewhere between 15 and 30 yards downfield, in which he's completely blanketed by coverage from the cornerback. And you drafted this guy because he was allegedly good at catching 50-50 balls. What's a 50-50 ball? It's a play where you throw it to the outside on the sidelines, downfield, number 1, downfield, and you're expecting your wide receiver to fight through the cornerback coverage and essentially snag the ball from their cold, dead hands. This was supposed to be his bread and butter coming out of college. It wasn't getting separation. It wasn't running clean, crisp, awesome routes in which he can dust the corner off the line. His key to success was this 50-50 ability. Well, guess what? This is play 4 in the Joe Brady playbook. Keon Coleman was targeted 8 times in this game. 8 times. He caught 3 balls. That's less than 50%. So your star wide receiver who you drafted to win 50-50 balls is winning 50-50 balls less than 50%. Is that a good percentage? Maybe I'm bad at math, but that sucks. Now, you want to say, well, he caught a touchdown. Congratulations. He caught a touchdown. You know who he beat on this touchdown? He beat the 4th or 5th or 6th freaking cornerback on the Dolphins team because their secondary is decimated by injuries. So congratulations, your number 1 draft pick beat their 4th best cornerback. We're going to give him praise? Yes, great. Congrats. You caught a ball. So you don't like that one. You don't like the 50-50 ball to Keon? Okay, I got one more for you. Play 5 in the Joe Brady playbook. Play 5 is Josh drops back and then runs around like a lunatic, like a crazy person, practically begging for anyone to get open. He scrambles around. Sometimes he takes a sack. Sometimes maybe he gets close to a first down. Sometimes maybe he gets the first down, but then he fumbles. Sometimes he's so excited that the wide receiver is open that he launches the ball over the mountains. And he misses his open receiver completely because, as I said, it's like a mirage in the desert. And he's so shocked that a receiver is actually freaking open that he launches the ball to the next stratosphere. So there you go. And everyone in the world, every coach, every team, everyone on their schedule knows the Joe Brady playbook. You take the legs out of this triangle and the Bills got nothing. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I missed a play in the Joe Brady playbook. And he had the nerve to come on in his press conference and say that there was nothing wrong with the passing game a few weeks ago. Nothing wrong with the passing game after the Panthers. Nothing wrong with the passing game. Okay, Joe. I really hope some college comes calling, maybe Penn State, because I know they're in coaching turmoil. I really hope some college team comes calling and offers you $50 billion to go coach some joke of a college program, because I can't take it anymore. I try not to come after the coaches. And I get it. Like, the talent is just not there. And we're going to get to that in a second. You can't scheme these players open. You're telling me the key to offensive success is Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer's long-awaited return to the offense. This is what we're waiting for. Oh, my God. So here you go. You got Keon Coleman, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Tyrell Shavers. The only time I saw Samuel during the game was when he was trying to corral the fumble. It was either James Cook or Josh Allen. I don't know. Somebody fumbled, and the only time I saw him on the screen was when he was trying to pick up the loose ball. And we already talked about Keon. I can't defend him anymore, and I want to defend him. I want to give him a chance. I don't think he's being used properly. With this 50-50 ball nonsense, that's just a terrible way of using him. And then I'm seeing plays where there's lack of effort, there's zero separation, and I'm just like, what are we doing? And so congrats on the tutty against the 4-stringer. Like, are you serious? And then post-game press conference, the press conference yesterday for McDermott, and people are asking him about Keon's preparation, attitude, hustle, whatever. And he's like, well, Keon knows when I'm not happy. Okay, great. Well, you got a rabid fan base. The natives are restless for more than one reason. And Keon's a part of the problem. So I don't know whether this has to do with play calling, but brutal. I just can't defend him anymore. I can't. And so our offense, now that Kincaid's hurt, you think defensively teams are going to come in here and not stick to the same game script that the Dolphins just had? Stack the box and know that no one on this wide receiver room is going to beat you. No one. And what did we see Sunday? The Shakir screen isn't working. We're not praying enough. Like, if Kincaid can't stay on the field and they stack the box against Cook, we're screwed, because our wide receivers are absolutely awful. I don't know. I can't defend them anymore. And Josh Allen, he's not without blame either, but he looks absolutely miserable. So good job, Bean. You have failed once again. You have found a generational superstar, and you hang your hat like you have it in your trophy room. I drafted Josh Allen. Congratulations. You got JA-17, and he is a franchise once in a generation talent. I'm never going to see a player like Josh Allen again in my lifetime. Never. And you have failed to surround him with playmakers. You have failed to support him. Because of what? What is the reason? Don't sit here and tell me that you tried, because I don't want to hear try. Everyone knows the Yoda Star Wars quote, do or do not. There is no try. I am sick and tired of hearing about how you tried. Just go do, for God's sakes. Go do. And my question is, I'm sitting there watching him on the sidelines, and people want to talk about his mannerisms and how he's not getting pumped up and getting in people's faces like we saw a couple years ago. Well, why? Why? Who's he going to get in? Whose face is he going to get in? The offensive line, they held. I think the stat was for the game, he had over 3.5 seconds per drop back, which is more than enough time. Your wide receivers can't get open. You're going to go scream in Keon's face? What's he going to do? Pout? You're going to go scream in Elijah Moore's face, Curtis Samuel's face. He could scream in Curtis Samuel's face. He might fall down and get hurt, and then he's out. He might not even recognize Elijah Moore because he's never on the field. What is he going to do? Go scream in these guys' faces? Great. Congratulations. What is that going to accomplish? And my question is, and I hate to talk about this, but how long is Josh Allen going to put up with this if this continues? If year after year, season after season, Brandon Beane doesn't do anything, you think he's just going to keep signing extensions to stay in Buffalo? I know he loves it. I know he loves the city. I know he loves the community. I know there's a lot going on, and maybe he never leaves. I hope to God he never leaves and we never have to have this conversation. But how long is he going to be okay with this crap that Beane is surrounding him with? And Coach McDermott, he's not without blame, but there's only so much blame I could put on him when this is the team he's given. Right? And now he has a defense that's held together by duct tape. There's a bunch of young players who are kind of learning on the fly, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with growing pains with young players that have talent, that go after it, that try. I'm fine with that. But the offense is completely ruined and there is no one coming to fix it. No one, because Beane blew it. So yeah, I'm super excited to be in the stands Sunday against the Tampa Bay Bucs, who just lost at the last second to Drake freaking May. And here we go with the dang Patriots again. 20 years of my life, I had to deal with boo-boo, and now Drake May is already leading the charge, and we are toast in the AFC East to winning the division because he has far achieved his timeline. He's standing as the MVP frontrunner for the freaking Patriots. Are you kidding me already? It's going to be such a happy, calm, understanding crowd at Highmark Stadium come Sunday against Tampa Bay because Baker Mayfield's going to be pissed. I don't know. And then you hear things after the game that, the Dolphins wanted it more. They wanted it more? The 2-7 Dolphins, who literally just fired their GM and were on the verge of trading half their team, they wanted it more? What do they want? You know what they wanted? Because I talked about it in my game preview. This would have been the 8th straight victory the Bills beat the Dolphins. 8 straight. So yeah, maybe they did want it more. They didn't want to be the laughing stock of the East. They didn't want to be Josh Allen's. They didn't want Josh Allen to be their baby daddy, like to own them, because historically he's carved them up. Some of his best games are against the Dolphins. So maybe they got sick of losing to the Bills and they're like, screw this. I'm watching that game and it seemed like the Bills didn't even want to show up. It seemed like they quit. It was hot. It was too hot. I don't know. First round bye? Yeah, kiss that goodbye. The first seed in the AFC? Not a chance. Yeah, we're still in the mix for a playoff seed. I get it. But what confidence does anyone have moving into the playoffs with this? Oh, don't worry. Gabe Davis is coming back. And Josh Palmer is going to be healthy. Fantastic. Whew. Nothing helps me rest sounder at night than the prospects of Gabe Davis coming to help this wide receiver core. And maybe he will. Maybe him and Josh Palmer will be the saviors we need. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm just so frustrated with the last week, with the trade nonsense, the Brandon Beane stuff, his lack of doing literally anything to help Josh Allen, who is one of the greatest players I will ever see in my lifetime. It's so frustrating. Anyway, I gotta get away from the Dolphins game. But normally I put out a game preview before the weekend hits. Well, I'm not going to be putting out a game preview this week. I'm going to take a few days. I'm getting away with my wife. We're heading up to the Finger Lakes. And then fortunately, maybe unfortunately, we will both be in the stands for the Bills-Bucs game on Sunday. So I'm just not going to have time to do a game preview podcast. So here we go. I figure I would spend as much time on my game preview against the Bucs as the Bills did preparing for the Dolphins. So I'm going to add it to this episode. I know we're running long. I appreciate y'all hanging with me, but here we go. We're going to do a quick week 11 game preview of Bucs at Bills coming at you Sunday in Orchard Park, 1 p.m. We're going to start with the news and notes. It's just how I always start my game breakdowns. Well, we already hit on this. The Bills suck. The defense is all in the ICU and the offense is nowhere to be found. So that wraps up news and notes. Next, we're going to get to the injuries portion of the game preview. Injuries. The entire defense for the Bills is hurt. Anything else we want to talk about? The entire defense, they're all hurt. The Bucs, who knows? X factors. I like to talk about X factors. Number one, this is what I wrote down. Number one, X factor. Can any wide receiver on this team play football? Anyone. I'm waiting. X factor number two. Can Joe Brady call more than 5 plays? Can he call more than those 5 plays we already went over? Because the entire league knows what the playbook is, and they are ready for each and every one of those 5 amazing plays. Number 3, X factor number 3, and I love this one. Can we punt or kick field goals on first down? And I'll let the field position dictate which is warranted. Frankly, I don't care. The punter, as I talked about, the punter was the MVP of the Dolphins game. So are we allowed to kick field goals or punt on first down? Because I don't want the offense to take the field. So there you go. Those are my 3 X factors. I always talk about this in my game previews. Stress factor. It's going to be really hard to be stressed when I have no expectations. So I'm going to get away for a few days. I'm going to unplug from this disaster that is the current state of the Bills. And so I'm not going to be stressed. My wife and I, we're going to show up. We're going to tailgate. We're going to eat some food, maybe have a few drinks. We're going to walk into the stadium, and I'm going to have 0 expectations that anything can be fixed before Sunday at 1 o'clock against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. So my stress, you want to throw a number on it? Sure. My stress is a 2 because the only thing I'm really worried about heading into Sunday is getting a good spot to tailgate. So there you go, 2. And then finally, the game prediction. This is what I always get down to. Break down this incredible matchup. Here you go, folks. It comes down to this. The 6-3 Bills are at home going against the Tampa Bay Bucs, who are also 6-3. They are coming off a tough loss to the best team in the AFC East, the New England Patriots. That's right. They are the talk of the town, if you will. Baker Mayfield is looking to bounce back. He's looking to carve up this infirmary unit that is the Bills' defense. Somehow, if you can think about how crazy this is, the Bills are favored by 5.5 points at home. I have no idea how this is the case, but regardless, the Bills will be rocking whatever jersey they want. I don't even care at this point. No one cares. Maybe mix and match. Maybe have each player wear a different jersey, especially the wide receivers. Maybe we can kind of confuse Joe Brady, confuse the Bucs defense. Nobody will know who anybody is. Josh clearly doesn't know who any of these wide receivers are. So wear whatever the hell you want. It won't matter because they can't get open anyway. I see the Bucs coming into Orchard Park, crushing the Bills, 415-6. The Bills... The Bills are going to drop to 6-4, and then they're going to fly to Houston on a short week and play the Texans on Thursday Night Football. It doesn't get much better than this, right, Mafia? Right? So there you go. That's going to wrap up the week. That's going to wrap up the podcast, and of course, the game preview. And that's also going to conclude this episode of the 3 Ts. Thanks for sticking with me. I know it's a longer episode. Hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, share this podcast with someone who you know loves wrestling, loves the Bills, unfortunately, or is an avid card collector or a fan of the hobby. It doesn't matter. Just help your boy grow this pod 1 episode at a time. As always, I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.